Okay, so I want to reveal to you what audio painting is. If you've never heard of that term before, again, it's my own term, and I really think it's a good example of how it all works. And so essentially what I think about the playlist is like a canvas, all right? As an artist who paints, you're kind of painting the picture for your listener, but visually. When the listener puts on the headphones, you are essentially taking them through this song, right? And so, for example, you can see like this is like the chorus, goes into a verse now right here, okay? But you can see what's going on is I have some transitions. And then here's kind of like a transition. Here's another transition. Now, in a track, it's usually pretty good to have 1, 2, or 3 different types of transitions you can kind of bounce around. And something I will show you right here is notice what's going on right here. You can see that the drum loop is chopped up. And so essentially I'm using this as a form of audio painting. In another word, I'm preparing the listener to let them know something's changing in the song. So for example, I'm not playing the drum loop fully, and it lets the listener know that, okay, something's happening, and then the chorus comes in, okay? So again, this track is called Looking for My Love. It's off of one of my beat tapes by Gratuitous. You can just look that into Google, Looking for My Love, beat tapes by Gratuitous, and it will come up for you, okay? So we're not going to listen to the whole track, but I will listen to a bit from the beginning just for you to see. Now you'll notice here that the only type of really quote unquote audio painting is this sound effect, okay? And I'll play the sound effect by itself. So right now I just have a sound, and I use those pitch bend notes. So the sound would just be like this, and it's not going to sound good because I don't have my automation clips going on. But let's just listen to it by itself just for you to see. So it bends. Okay. But now watch when we have the types of transition or automation clips going on. So watch, I'll hit F6 to bring up the channel rack. The SFX, the sound effect, is right there. So as you can see, when I am organized, everything's really easy. I can get there really, really fast. Same with if I hit F9, I know 28 is my sound effect. Okay, so it's just all about workflow as a music producer. So what I did here, let's just quickly look. All right, so Prism is right here, which is the green one. Pitch is this main pitch, and then you can see I also have a channel pitch, so I also affected this pitch right here. So I did 3 automation clips on this. So okay, you see how that one went up as well. So I affected pitch, Prism, and that one. And again, in FL Studio, to create an automation clip, what I like to do is I like to right click and hold, and then I'll create the automation clip in there just by right clicking a knob and go and create automation clip. Now, if you are using a third-party plugin, you can go tools, you can go last tweaked knob. So for example, if we moved the harmonizer knob like that, you can come here, you can go last tweaked, and you can go create automation clip. Okay, and it would create it right in that area. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come here, we're going to go current project history and go all the way back because I adjusted that and I want it to be how I originally had the track. All right, so I'm just showing you that's what I did for my transition. I just took a sound, I pitched it up with slide notes, which is really powerful by itself, and then I just used some automation just to get my own sound. So this is what the track sounds like. You can see that no audio paintings really going on. I didn't really transition, but sometimes you can get away with it depending on your instruments. You can see that like the notes are kind of played fast right here, and it really helps transition into the chorus. And when I hit play, I'll let you listen to that. And then the same thing when it comes out of the chorus, because I guess the notes are kind of fast, it just kind of worked. Sometimes it works. Typically it doesn't. So typically you do need some type of transition. And as you can see here, that this track is pretty basic. I only have one piano. And in order to spice up this verse, okay, because this is verse 1, in order to spice this up, what I did was you can see that I chopped up the drum loop. And if I play the drum loop by itself, it's really heavy with cymbals. So listen, it's a really powerful drum loop. So we're going to hear it stops. Okay, so the cymbal continues right here. It goes, and then the cymbal comes back in, and then it continues. And then you can see I also chopped up the drum. And what I've done here and what I'm trying to share with you is that what I've tried to do to spice up the song when it could have just been so basic like this, like it would have been so continual at, everywhere here I've kind of chopped up. So one sec, let's just do this, because otherwise the track just would have been like this over and over and over. So we'll come back here. It would have just kept looping and looping. So it just would have kept looping. Like, yeah, it's kind of catchy, but at the same time, it's like, as a music producer, we need to add life into the track. And we do that with audio painting, preparing the listener and kind of listening from the listener's point of view. So what I'm trying to say is, you can see right there, I put some silence in, right? We took out the drum loop. We allowed that cymbal to play through kind of like, ooh, that's kind of a cool part. Like, and it comes right back in. And then you can see right here, I've chopped up the drum loop. It goes, so. Okay, so I've spiced up this verse because we only have one thing going on. And then the same thing, I just also put another snare hit right here. So watch it go, right? Just the drum. And how I'm doing that is I would just go like step or something. So this is what I do when I'm editing. So I usually like to be in beat or bar when I'm actually working from far. So for example, if we're in beat, and again, you can right click and it keeps this window open, or if I'm in bar. Okay, so if you can't see the difference, just look at the lines. So step, you can see all the little lines in between. And this makes it good if you want to do fine edits, like I'm going to show you if we're going to chop up the drum loop. But if we are working from far, then this is a lot better in beat. You can notice that there's not as many lines, okay? So beat or bar, I'm telling you, is so easy. So from far back, because you know that wherever you're clicking, it's like you are locked in. But if we want to do some kind of edits, then, so for example, let's just replicate this snare hit I did. So I'm just going to put it to step. And what I'll do is I'll just take a regular drum loop like this. And what I would usually do, so let's listen for a drum hit. All right, so I know that this snare is right here. We'll listen one more time. All right, that's the snare. So I'm just going to enable this track. I'm going to hold on shift and click. And so what I will do is we will kind of bring it back a little bit, just like this. We'll bring it over, and we know that this is the snare, right? So what I did is I probably just did this, brought it right up, and watch, this is what I did probably. And there you go. And so, yeah, so this drum loop's pretty powerful. I have a lot of cymbals going on. As you heard, I even had a reverse cymbal, so it kind of just like was just cymbals all over the place going on. Okay, so let's listen to the track. All right, we'll listen to kind of like the beginning of it. I'll let it go into probably about here. Okay, so there's going to be a little bit of listening for you right now, and then I'll just quickly talk about right here in this section of the song. You can see that again, I've just used that same single piano, right? But the only thing is, you can see that the color of the drum loop has changed. And so what that is doing is I have just mixed up, as you can see, like there's no big drum. And then in here, then there's no cymbals. So it's just kind of spicing up the drum loop, even though it was just a pretty basic track with just a single instrument. I did add in a second instrument there. But here we go. Here's the track, okay? So we got audio painting and no transition really, but then we start getting into it further on. Okay, we're going to get into the audio painting now. Verse 1. have that snare hit coming up, that double snare hit. And then this is audio painting. Okay, so let's look at that quickly. So again, this is, I'll just show you it. So I just had some sounds. These are some toms. So I'm going to go to the mixer. So on insert 29, you can see I have some compression. I have lots of compression and some distortion and some EQ. Okay. This one I reversed, and to reverse the sound, you just hit reverse, right? That's all you do. And I must have just fine-tuned it just for it to flow. And that's it. Okay. So that's my transition. And listen. Now, again, also the drum loop I chopped out, just, so I didn't continue it on. And it just let the listener know that, okay, here comes the chorus. Okay, we'll listen from here. We'll play just a little bit of the chorus, but you can see I also chopped up the drum loop again, and this prepared the listener that now we're going into the verse. And in this track, because it was using that same instrument, this is why I changed up the drum loop. So this drum loop here is the biggest drum loop out of all the tracks. So it has the big drum, it has the cymbals. It's really big and heavy, okay? We'll listen to it in just a second. This one here has no cymbals and it has no big drum. And then if we go a little bit further on, you can see this one has no cymbals, but it has the big drum, okay? So let me just play just like so as you can see, see how I'm not perfectly, on at the beginning. And this is why I like to work in beat or bar, because it's just so easy when you're further out. It just locks in for you, okay? And I'm telling you, it's just all about workflow. So this one is the very, very full drum loop with the big drum, the cymbals, and you've already heard it. Here it is. Okay, so really, really powerful, really full. This one here is no cymbals and no big drum. So this is it just by itself. It's very, very light, but this short tail drum does cut through. Okay, now again, I'll just let you listen quickly to this one right here. And this one again is it has the big drum. So listen at the very, very beginning of the drum loop. It's like, okay, so we will extend this over to the no big drum. Okay, so let me just recap. So this one has the big drum, so no cymbals, has the big drum, but no cymbals. This one has no cymbals and no big drum. Okay, so all I did was within the track, this is what I did to spice it up. Okay, so we were right here so far. And again, you're going to listen to that audio painting. I guess we will just finish throughout the chorus because it'll let you listen to how when I remove that drum loop, it prepares the listener for a change up. And then it comes into here with a drum loop, which is much lighter than the heavy drum loop. Okay, because no big drum, no cymbals. We play it through, again, silence. You can see I even brought in the big drum loop right there. And again, I would just kind of bring a sound over, and I do that by holding on shift and clicking, and you can bring it over, and you can chop up different drum loops and mix and match. And that's what I did in this track. Okay. So here, let's listen to it through. We'll go back just one more bar, and we will listen to this audio painting with the drum loop cut. It prepares the listener. The chorus goes through. We are preparing the listener again right here. And then we will get into a different section of the song, which is verse 2. So yeah, I added that cymbal in. We chop it up. We got the audio painting. Okay, so do you notice there that this right here was a type of audio painting, it chopped it up. It was kind of like a transition. I also used a real transition, the toms, which you already heard. They're pretty aggressive and kind of cool sounding. But I did that because what do you notice is coming in? A new instrument, right? So I did that to prepare the listener. A new instrument's coming in. And then as this continues on, again, I kind of spice it up with the big drum and then no big drum. And then right here, I actually add in the big drum loop. So, I must have just done this, grabbed it, hit shift and click. And I must have just done something like that with this transition. You can see I brought in the toms and I brought in the riser, and it brings us into the chorus. Now, one thing I want to share, because again, it's about audio painting and preparing the listener. So you can see at the very, very first chorus, what do you notice different with the first chorus to the second chorus? Okay. So you see the dirty whistle and it just sounds like this. Okay. It's pretty aggressive, but within the track, I kind of liked how it sounded. But what I'm saying is you can see in the very, very beginning of the song, that's probably why I didn't do some type of transition, because it was just a light chorus. It was the chorus without the main kind of lead. And then what happens is we essentially tease the listener with only an 8-bar chorus. So as you can see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, so we have 8 bars right here. And the big choruses are usually 16 bars, which you can see right here. And to spice up this chorus even just a little bit further, what I did was, you can see I have 2 dirty types of whistles. So it's the same sound. I just changed up the melodies just a little bit from the first 8 bars to the last 8 bars. Okay, so it's a 16-bar chorus. And typically in a song, this is how it works, not all the time, but usually the listener, what they're wanting to hear is that chorus. They're wanting to hear that big full chorus, and they want to hear it play again, because right here, I'm teasing the listener, right? We've just brought in an 8-bar chorus. It's powerful, but then it goes back into the verse. And then now it's built up into the big chorus, which is what everyone's waiting for, which is why I have put the big drum with the chops right here, right? You can see that. And I'll let you listen to the chorus with both versions there. And then again, I use the toms, right? And then I use the sound effect with the automation clips. And this prepares the listener for the change. And again, as you can see right here, this is why I was able to bring in this instrument, because I transitioned in. And that's pretty much it for the track. But again, I will let you listen to this chorus, and then I'll hop to one more song for you, and we'll just do a slight breakdown, very similar. Because again, if you've never heard about audio painting, you can just see that, okay, I get it. You can even see right here. So listen to this. There's no drum loop going on. So from the chorus to, this is like the verse 3, but it's kind of like an outro. But listen, no drum loop going on. I use this transition. It comes back in, and then it kind of slows down. So in other words, the big drum loop is not playing. I just kind of layer it up, and then it fades out. So check this out. There's no drum loop going on. Listen for the transition. All right, like it's kind of back. So did you hear that reverse cymbal? So that reverse cymbal was actually built into the drum loop, and I just took advantage of it. So there's also one more thing I'll let you hear before playing that again. You can see that piano 1 is playing. Usually the verse was piano 2. So you can tell that this is now an outro, because piano 2 was verse 1, piano 2 is verse 2, piano 2 was verse 3. This is the outro because piano 1 was actually a part of the chorus. So listen to that reverse drum loop, and then it goes into a lighter drum loop to kind of slow down the song before I add in this piano layer. So listen to that reverse cymbal. Okay, this piano layer is going to come in. I stop the piano. And and then I just have a master volume fade out just for best practice kind of thing there, okay? So again, let's just play it from here, because you will hear the transition, preparing the listener for the new instrument to come in. Then it builds up for the biggest part of the song. This is the 16-bar chorus, and then after that, I will stop this video, and then we will go into another track, okay? So there you guys go. That's your first look at audio painting if you've never heard of it before, and here we go. This one has the big drum. Audio painting. I chopped it up again. And then it breaks down. And again, I took advantage of that reverse cymbal. Just like you saw right there, I that reverse cymbal. So listen to it. The reverse cymbal breaks down the song. You can't see it, but that's what's happening with this drum loop. Just listen to the reverse cymbal. It goes. It kind of sounds like whoosh, and then it goes into the chorus piano. Because remember, piano 2 was the verses, and this is just kind of breaking down the song. So the reverse cymbal there. Okay, let's hop to the next song.